Now 7 at 11, your top stories in the next 7 minutes of the newscast. Thanks for joining us here at 11. I'm Adrienne Moore.
And I'm Tony Lopez. Our news is also streaming live on CBS and Sacramento right now.
And we begin with breaking news. A gunman is dead after opening fire outside Stockton Police headquarters. CBS 13's Steve Large is live outside the station with the very latest. Steve.
Yeah, this gunfire exchange right on the front steps of the Stockton Police Department. I want to show you the scene right here. The main street right outside the Stockton Police Department is now taped off as a number of squad cars have positioned themselves around this street and lights on. And we don't see a whole lot of activity on the street itself, but no cars, no pedestrians allowed on the sidewalks. And this is where the gunfire broke out in the parking lot right outside the front doors of the Stockton Police Department. We, of course, were able to monitor some of the dispatch audio recordings from this exchange, and here's what we found. Listen in.
I'm in the front lot. He's on the ground. Start medics, stage them. He's on the ground. He's got the gun in his hand. On to the units on the west side of the PD. Go inside so we don't have crossfire. We have units on the east side.
All right, so that's a little bit of what we can make out from the moments that this was happening. And this gunman coming to the downtown Stockton Police Department, opening fire, Stockton Police then returning fire. No officers were hit. The gunman shot dead here on the footprint of the Stockton Police Department in the parking lot here. We are just now learning that the Stockton Police Chief Eric Jones is on his way down here, hopefully with more details about what he can give us at this hour, and another significant step in an investigation here that is just now getting underway. But again, just to wrap up, one man dead in the parking lot here of the Stockton Police Department.
All right, Steve Large reporting live from Stockton. Steve, thank you for the update. Now to this, a father and son facing felony criminal charges for starting the Caldor fire.
Tonight, David and Travis Smith are in the El Dorado County Jail accused of starting that massive blaze.
CBS 13's Laura Hafley is in Pollock Pines with what we're learning tonight.
Victims of the Caldor fire may finally see some justice after 2 men were arrested for starting the blaze. 66-year-old David Smith and his son Travis are behind bars, accused by the El Dorado County DA of reckless arson, a charge that could mean serious repercussions for the father-son duo. Caldor fire evacuees breathing a sigh of relief, knowing they may finally see justice. Coming up, what that reckless arson charge means and why the Smiths' defense attorney says not only are the men innocent, but they tried to prevent the fire.
Laura, thanks. We're on storm watch tonight as wet weather moves into Northern California.
Well, let's take a live look at Titan HD radar. You can see some spots of green there as the rain falls in the foothills.
Meteorologist Darla Givens tracking the system, and it's here to time it out for us, Darla.
That's right. Yes, we're going to see rain showers, the heavy rain coming during the overnight hours, and also for the morning commute. I think we'll see some scattered areas where we'll have some heavy downpours. Right now, still getting some light rain just to the northwest of Yuba City. This is all going to start to slide south into the east of our region, and the foothill locations picking up some rain as well. The snow is going to be the big deal for tomorrow. We're looking to get about 14 inches of snow. For tomorrow morning's commute, you will run into some rain. It could be heavy at times, and temperatures on the mild side in the upper 40s and low 50s. As we go through the day, however, we are going to see some clearing skies, so we'll have sunshine for the afternoon. And with that clear skies, it's going to bring some frost to the area on Friday and Saturday. So we have a whole lot of winter weather going on. And this isn't the first storm. We have another one coming up on Sunday. So I'll be back to let you know how we could see more than 2 inches of rain in some valley locations. Adrienne?
All right, things are getting busy. Darla, thanks. Mount Rose Ski Resort plans to open for the season this week. The Tahoe Resort says lifts will start running on Friday. However, beginner runs will not be open right away.
We're learning more about the man killed in a road rage shooting on I-5.
Lufino Mejorado was a veteran who had just celebrated his 60th birthday. He was shot and killed on Monday on I-5 near Richards Boulevard. His childhood friend tells us he was a man of great faith, a loving father, and dedicated family health therapist. She says the two never lost touch.
He has a huge family, I have a huge family, and we both just kind of intertwined, and he and I never stopped communicating.
As for the suspect, he is in jail with no bail and will make his first court appearance tomorrow.
New tonight, Sacramento County detectives are investigating a deadly shooting that happened in Carmichael. Investigators say a man was shot and killed at an apartment complex on Van Alstyne Avenue last night. The gunman is still on the run tonight.
Tonight, 2 Sacramento County teenagers are facing criminal charges for making threats against the Laguna Creek High School in Elk Grove.
Here's what we know on this. Investigators say a 16-year-old boy and girl posted the threat on Instagram yesterday. The girl's charged with disturbing a school. The boy is charged with making threats. They were cited and released to their parents.
Tonight, we are getting a look at the woman accused of trying to drown a 4-year-old boy in a Yuba County canal. Taylor Green is accused of holding the boy's head underwater near Woodruff Lane. When a CHP officer went to rescue the boy, she allegedly tried to push both of them into the water. She's charged with 2 counts of attempted homicide.
It's taken to Modesto now, where police there are searching for a murder suspect right now. Police say Robert Banks assaulted the victim at the Tuolumne River Regional Park on September 28th. The victim died a month later. The cause of death has not yet been released.
We continue to follow that breaking news out of Stockton tonight, where there is a news conference underway right now regarding the man who was shot right outside Stockton Police Headquarters. Let's listen in.
Still armed with the handgun. That's when officers were forced to open fire, and the adult male was declared deceased at the scene here. And we now have a county-wide protocol investigation underway, which includes our department, the county district attorney, California State Department of Justice, and other agencies to do a full investigation into what happened.
In all your time as police chief, this happening so close to your headquarters here, have you ever seen any encounter quite like this?
I have not seen anything like this. I've been here nearly 30 years with Stockton PD, nearly 10 years as police chief. And for somebody to come right into the police department like this and fire the weapon and then charge right at the officers with the weapon is very unique. But I will say, unfortunately, we're seeing more cases like this, not just in our area, whether it be ambushes or assaults on police officers or their buildings or operations buildings. We've been seeing an increase of this really nationally, and it's extremely concerning, and it just shows the dangers of being a police officer. And also, we've had a lot of citizens who come here all throughout the night who may be here to file reports or things like that, so they were all in danger too. So this was a very unique situation. Fortunately, no one else was hurt, and the officers were forced to fire. For a while before they were forced to fire, they were ordering the person to drop the gun, and it wasn't until he charged right toward them that they opened fire.
And with it being at 8:30 at night, were there any civilians here at that point?
I can say there were some civilians in the parking lot at the time of this incident, yes.
Were any officers around?
Wow, there you see Chief Jones clearly shaken up by what happened. Again, police officers not even safe in their own headquarters. As a man with a gun shows up, opens fire, and they fire back, killing him. No officers injured. Steve Large is gathering more information. We'll have it on CBS and Sacramento and throughout the day. Tomorrow, of course, starting bright and early for you and throughout the day. That wraps up tonight's 7 at 11. Everything you need to know in the first 7 minutes of the newscast. Now let's take a closer look at one of our top stories tonight.
Hundreds of homes torched, thousands forced to evacuate for weeks. Lives forever changed, all by the Caldor fire. And now a father and son are accused of reckless arson and starting that devastating fire.
CBS 13's Laura Hafley explains why their defense attorney says the charges won't stick.
Hundreds of thousands of acres burned, homes destroyed, people hurt. El Dorado County District Attorney says David and Travis Smith are responsible for all of it.
I just hope that ultimately justice is served.
The father and son, accused of starting the Caldor fire, were arrested Wednesday for reckless arson.
My clients and I assert that they are 100% innocent.
The Smiths' attorney, Mark Reichel, claiming the DA got it wrong and that his client's involvement begins and ends with calling 911.
They saw the fire and they called it in.
The first flames sparking just south of Grizzly Flats.
They called 911. The call dropped. They continue to call 911.
Finally getting a dispatcher on the phone.
They gave the coordinates best they could. They warned other campers in the area about this fire.
The DA's reckless arson charge could mean the fire may not have been set on purpose, but the risky actions allegedly taken by the Smiths resulted in significant damage anyway.
People are going to be looking for someone to blame for this,
for something to blame. How are your clients feeling that right now it's them?
They're both, obviously affected by all of the pressure on them. They're affected by it. However, they both are of sound mind, and they're both, firm in their belief, in their innocence.
News of the arrest has made its way through communities affected by the Caldor fire.
I'm glad to hear that the people who are responsible can be held accountable.
Now, Laura asked the El Dorado County DA about what may have caused the fire specifically, but the DA said they're not ready to release that information. You can bet we'll keep digging to get that answer.
So what exactly is reckless arson in this charge here, and how is it different from malicious arson? We're getting answers for you. Malicious arson is the more serious of the two charges and comes down to intent. If you knew your actions would result in a serious risk but ignored it and a fire went on to cause injury or property damage. But with reckless arson, as in the case here, the requirement for intent is lower and is defined as carelessly setting fire to someone's property.
So now we're looking ahead at what's next for Scott Peterson after being resentenced to life without parole during an emotional hearing today inside a San Mateo courtroom.
CBS 13's Marissa Perlman is getting answers on why this case is far from over.
Off death row, but his murder conviction still stands, and a new trial for Scott Peterson looming just months from now. For the first time in years, we're hearing from the family of Laci Peterson, who called out Scott for the 2002 Christmas Eve killing and what they call a lack of remorse ever since.
Scott Peterson inside a San Mateo County courtroom, wearing an orange jumpsuit, a mask, his hands handcuffed to his chair. The last time he was here, he heard a judge sentence him to death. Peterson found guilty for the Christmas Eve 2002 murder of his wife Laci and the couple's unborn child Connor. Scott's sister-in-law Janie Peterson, in tears outside court, has maintained his innocence.
Scott is in prison. He's been in prison for over 18 years for a crime he did not commit.
Yet investigators say Peterson, who was having an affair at the time, took the body of his pregnant wife from their Modesto home and dumped her remains from his fishing boat into the San Francisco Bay, where they surfaced months later.
He would never, ever harm Laci and Connor.
Scott Peterson, now 49 years old, has been in prison limbo since the state Supreme Court reversed his death sentence in August of 2020. They found some jurors were improperly dismissed. He spent nearly 2 decades on death row for the crime that captured the nation's attention. The sentencing emotional. Judge Anne Christine Masulo only allowing Laci's family to speak. At one point, Sharon Rocha, Laci's mother, tearfully talked to Scott directly. She said, "Laci's dead, Scott, because she loved you, she trusted you, and she believed in you. You betrayed her, your son, and everybody else." But Peterson's lawyer says his client, too, was prepared to speak. But Judge Masulo denied it.
He wanted to talk about the fact that they went to great lengths to have a child.
Peterson will be back in court in February for a hearing that will determine whether he gets an entirely new trial based on a claim of juror misconduct. So how likely is it that Peterson will get a new trial? Legal analysts we spoke with say it is likely that the juror number 7 did demonstrate juror misconduct. The judge in this case will get 90 days after this 1-week hearing to make a decision.
Marissa, thank you. All new at 11. Scandal rocking a Southern California police department. Why officers' text messages are putting dozens of criminal cases in jeopardy.
And West Hollywood, a weed destination, how it's trying to cash in on the cannabis culture and become a global hotspot for pot tourism.
And don't go to bed yet. We're following that breaking news. A gun battle outside of Stockton Police Station. A look at the scene right there. One suspect is dead. Steve Large gathering more information. We'll have an update for you after a break. We're back in 90 seconds.
You're watching the CBS 13 News, #1 at 11.
Steve Large live in Stockton, updating you on the breaking news we've been following all night long. An officer-involved shooting gunshots at the Stockton Police Department. And Chief Eric Jones just updating us on what happened here, and also letting us know that the suspect had come out of a vehicle that is still parked on this street right here. That Volvo that is parked right in front of the Stockton Police Department. Officers observed this suspect in that car for some time, and Chief Jones then saying that they observed him walking towards the police department, started shooting erratically, not necessarily at anybody in particular, but officers asked him to put his gun down. The suspect did not. 5 officers opened fire, and this suspect died here at the Stockton Police Department. Here's a little bit more from Chief Jones just moments ago.
Today was a very tragic day for our community. Fortunately, none of the responding officers were injured, but we had a violent encounter right here behind me in front of our police facility. And so it's also an interesting day because today's also when we dedicated a plaque here at the police department in the memory of Officer Jimmy Inn, who passed recently.
So we all, of course, remember Stockton officer Jimmy Inn. The tribute to him just unveiled today at the Stockton Police Department, and Chief Jones making that point that this shooting happening on the very day that that honor was performed here just hours later. So this all unfolding at about 8 o'clock again in the Stockton Police Department parking lot. Chief Jones saying in his 30 years here with the Stockton PD, he's never seen anything so close to his own front door here. And we're back here live showing the scene. Police processing, combing through this, an investigation that's just underway. A man opening fire at the Stockton Police Department and officers shooting him dead.
A long night ahead for investigators, that's for sure. All right, Steve, thanks so much for that update. We appreciate it. Now to officers accused of crossing the line.
California's top cop launches an investigation into the Torrance Police Department. And here's why. The problem involves at least 15 officers who allegedly exchanged racist, anti-Semitic, and homophobic comments. At least 85 criminal cases have been dismissed because of the messages.
We're going to focus on the facts, the evidence, the data. We're going to gather it. We're going to go wherever it takes us, and we're going to take appropriate steps to achieve justice.
In Torrance, a relatively small police department in Southern California, the Attorney General told us there could be civil and criminal consequences as a result.
West Hollywood is going green, allowing the cannabis industry to expand and transform entertainment in the city.
Officials are thinking Amsterdam. Cannabis, cafes, lounges, and galleries.
New at 11, Tom Wade explains the vision of local leaders there.
Then that's going to get into more of our chocolate-based products.
Kelly Lyon of the Artistry Marijuana Dispensary showing off their wide range of pot-based products. The store is part of an ever-evolving and booming industry.
I really see it as a place that can sort of redefine what the image of cannabis is to the general public.
The Artistry is also a gallery, and soon it will open a lounge upstairs, one of a number of cannabis-based businesses set to open in West Hollywood.
It'd be awesome to be able to have sort of one business where you can appreciate art. If yoga's more your thing, you can walk right down the street and you can do that while you consume. And everyone's sort of bringing a different idea to the table.
West Hollywood is a city of just over 35,000 residents, and it's already a major entertainment hub. And the city says they are ready to expand what that means.
Right now, there are 6 dispensaries in the city of West Hollywood.
John Leonard is the Community and Legislative Affairs Manager for West Hollywood. As the LA Times first reported, WeHo is thinking Amsterdam, where tourists flock to the Dutch city for the canals, the Rembrandts, the cafes, bars, and coffee shops where they can legally smoke marijuana.
We could get up to a total of 23 cannabis businesses. That's a combination of up to 11 dispensaries and then 12 or so consumption lounges as well.
A-list celebrities like Jay-Z are even investing and buying up dispensaries here in WeHo as the industry expands. Leonard says residents overwhelmingly supported the legalization of pot in Prop 64, and there has been little resistance to their plans for cannabis.
For some context, there are about 30 approved cannabis business licenses in all of Sacramento.
That is significantly less than the proposed limits of West Hollywood's plans when adjusted for population. A teen in Reno is trying to make this Christmas extra special for kids battling cancer. 18-year-old Jonah Howell battled cancer himself 2 Christmases ago. He's now in remission, and boy, is he on a mission to spread some holiday cheer. Right now, he's collecting money to buy Christmas kits for kids over at the Children's Hospital in Reno. The kits include a Christmas tree that kids can decorate.
It's a time to share and give, and it would just make me happy to know I can make the kids happy. It would make the kids happy knowing they have Christmas back.
If you'd like to donate, Jonah and his family set up a registry with Target. You have until December 18th if you'd like to help out. The Christmas packages will be delivered to the hospital on December 20th.
It's been a heavy news day, so it's good to see stories like that. We have another one for you. Father and daughter on a mission to help people who lost their homes in wildfires across California.
Jamie Wax has the lessons they've learned about giving to others.
Look at the palm trees.
This father-daughter duo from Denver is road tripping to California. Woody Faircloth and his 9-year-old daughter Luna are on a mission to help those left homeless by the state's deadly wildfires.
Really in the home stretch.
Da, 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 da.
They've personally delivered about 20 RVs, mostly to first responders, veterans, and firefighters, like Don George. This year, as he was saving the homes of others, he lost his own.
I went to the crew and I got to go check on my house, and it was already too late. It's gone. That's your co-pilot?
That's my co-pilot.
All right.
I got keys for you.
Thank you.
I got a title for you.
Oh, wow. Thank God for Woody. Renewed my faith in mankind.
Giving to others has paved the way to a stronger bond.
It's been really special for the two of us just to be able to spend that time together and to make a difference. It's not just about her, and it's not just about me. It's about the people that we're helping.
Dad, God, and Santa are going to be very proud of us.
What makes you most proud?
That I've made a really big change in the world for a lot of people.
Including one little girl who's grown wise beyond her years.
Wow. Sometimes it's not what somebody says, but how they say it. You saw the expression in her voice, right?
My goodness.
Life lesson that lasts a long time.
Sweetheart. Oh, good job, Dad.
Yes.
Oh, Darla.
Hey there, we're looking at some rain passing across the area. It is going to get heavier as we go through the overnight hours, and this is just the first, and a wave of storms coming our way. Wait until you see what's happening next week, and wait until you see what's happening tonight on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
We continue to dig on this Stockton police shooting, and we have just been sent this picture of the gun. Police say the suspect was firing at the Stockton Police headquarters on East Market Street earlier this evening, Adrian, and officers, at least 4, opened fire and shot him dead.
Yeah, we do understand during the news conference with the police chief, Eric Jones, he was saying that officers actually saw this man sitting in his Volvo outside of headquarters. They had been watching him for quite some time before he approached the building and then opened fire. They said that the officers ordered him to drop the weapon. He did not, and then charged at those officers before they opened fire. A lot to unpack with this story, and officers obviously and investigators are going to be on scene throughout the evening. Still a lot to figure out with this case, what brought him there in the first place, and what led him to take such a violent turn. We're going to stay on top of it for you overnight, and be sure to watch CBS 13 for more on this in the morning.
All right, let's get over to Darla now. Lots going on in the weather department.
Oh, yeah. This is just the start of it. Taking a look outside right now, you can see nothing but haze out there and some light rain passing through portions of Sacramento, the foothills, and also parts of the valley. Let's go ahead and take a look to see our Doppler to see what's happening on it. Picking up some light rain right now across the valley, but look, it's picking up across the foothills and also in the Sierra. We're starting to see some snow picking up as well. Some of the heavier rain is going to come during the overnight hours and for your morning commute, but by your afternoon commute, it is going to be dry across the area. We'll see some sunshine in the afternoon and then a break from the wet weather for the weekend. Now we're looking to get anywhere from 1/10 of an inch of rain to about 1/4 of an inch in the valley, up to 3/4 of an inch in the foothills. And as far as snow is concerned, anywhere from an inch of snow at Pollock Pines to about 14 inches of snow at Kirkwood. So this is going to be the next storm that's going to head our way. It's coming in Sunday and it's going to last through at least Tuesday night before another round of wet weather comes in on Wednesday. So we're not done just yet. The system moving in next week, it's going to be colder, so that means lower snow levels and a lot of snow. Here in the valley, we could see more than 2 inches of rain, and I think we can bump that number up as well. And for the Sierra, we're looking at heavy snow, and we're going to see snow measured in feet rather than in inches. So taking a look at the 7-day forecast now, we'll see rain for tomorrow morning, but dry for the evening commute. With the clear skies overhead, we're going to see some cold temperatures in place. So we'll have a chance for some frost that's going to develop Friday and Saturday. And then we have rain Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and perhaps beyond. So next week is going to be an exciting one. We'll be back right after this.
Now, the Xfinity Sports Zone.
The Kings came into tonight's game against the Orlando Magic after a 3-day break.
That was enough time for Harrison Barnes to heal that ankle injury. It's kept him out since November. So Barnes was back in the starting lineup and gets involved early, taking the pass from Tyrese Halliburton, and he's going to finish with a running hook. That's nice. In the second, Rashawn Holmes, well, he goes up and gets hit right in the eye by Mo Bamba. That's the same eye he was hit in earlier this season. Showing some blood right there. That can't be good. Come out of the game, not returned. Team calling it an eye contusion. Stepping up in Rashawn's place, Tristan Thompson. 14 points and 10 rebounds in 20 minutes, making headlines of another sort. Leading the way offensively, De'Aaron Fox, you know him. Lefty, pulling up, 33 points, 12 for 8 shooting. Halliburton. Bad reaction from a booster shot, but gave the Magic bad reaction there after that. 18 points, 11 assists for him. Kings win big time, 142 to 130.
Before we go, one last update to the breaking news we've been following in Stockton. We are following this deadly shootout at the Stockton Police Department. You can see the suspect vehicle still on the street here right outside the Stockton Police Department. Officers say this gunman was parked in that vehicle, got out, started shooting erratically. Officers asked him to drop his weapon and he did not, and police are saying that 5 officers fired their shots at this gunman who died here at the Stockton Police Department tonight. This is all playing out in the 8 o'clock hour. So that's the very latest. Officers investigating the ID of this suspect and what that motive may have been. Guys?
All right, Steve, thanks for the good work and hustle tonight. And as Steve mentioned, this happened on the same day that they honor a fallen officer, Jimmy Inn, by having a plaque in his honor. So just the dangers of the job. No officers injured, but the suspect has been shot and killed.
That's going to do it for us tonight. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is coming up next. Have a good night.